Boom. I think I'm live. Is everything working? Is everything good? Can everyone hear me? Am I here? I don't know. Welcome, gang. I wasn't gonna stream tonight. I wasn't gonna talk at all. I was gonna sit down. I had my controller around. I was gonna play some video games. I was gonna relax. I was gonna rest up, maybe watch a movie, right, on Netflix or something. I don't know. A lot of things that I was gonna do tonight. That I can't do it now because I have to do this. Honkler303, welcome to the chat. Hello. Yeah, I'm live on all platforms. I'm live on Kick. I'm live on Twitch. I'm live on YouTube. Follow me on your favorite one. We got a lot to talk about tonight. A lot. There are a lot of ways I could go about doing it. A lot of places to start. But I think for now, we're going to start with the Houthis themselves. I'll wait a little bit. Wait till everyone kind of gets here. It's not even 6 yet, right? I was just so excited to talk to you guys that I went live just a smidge early. So we'll wait a little bit. We'll wait a few minutes. How's everyone doing, by the way? Everyone having a great night? Everyone relaxed? Everyone comfortable? Everyone snug as a bug in a rug? It's cold out there, gang. At least in my area, and I'm certain other parts of the world are equally as cold, if not colder. I know I have a lot of Canadian viewers, to my eternal shame. I hope you're staying warm as well. I hope you're as comfortable as you can be. This stream might make you mad. Might make you upset. Might make you angry. Because I'm angry, gang. I'm upset. I'm mad that people have decided, for whatever reason, and we can talk about those reasons, because there are reasons, right, to simp for Houthi terrorists. Not just terrorists, gang. Let's be clear. Let's use the correct terms. Slavers. For slavers. Okay, these people are on the left, quote unquote, right? Thinking, well, these slaver guys, they ain't so bad, right? Oh, they make a cute TikTok and they look a little ooh-woo with their shirt off. Oh, what a cute little slaver. Oh, I think I'm a slaver simp now. What the fuck are you talking about, gang? What are you doing? What is going on? Why are you simping for slavers? You don't have to. You can say, hey, I don't think what Biden's doing right now and doing the retaliatory strikes is good. You don't have to simp for slavers. You could disagree with American foreign policy. You can. It's all right, right? You're wrong in this case, but that's another subject. But I don't think less of you for it, right? But if you're out there running cover for a group of people who recruit child soldiers and reinstituted literal slavery in their country, yeah, you're a piece of shit. I don't know what else to tell you. Jenny Burns, you're making yourself some slippers tonight? Well, very cool. Slippers are very cozy and very warm. Hopefully they're warm slippers. Concluding postscript, nice to see you. Welcome to the stream. Again, we got a lot to talk about. I'm going to start the stream proper in about 2 minutes once 6 o'clock rolls around. Are we going to do call-ins tonight at all? We might. We might do call-ins. It really depends on how the night goes. Again, I didn't have anything planned tonight. As I said, I was going to go play some video games and kind of relax and just do whatever. But the plans have changed. The plans have changed after watching the responses to Hassan's recent stream, right? Hassan had a guest on who, the viral TikTok guy, right? Who did a shirtless TikTok. They started calling him the hot Houthi pirate, etc., etc. Jury's out on whether he's actually part of the Houthis or not, but that's almost beside the point. The guy does propaganda for this group, Okay, so whether he's an actual part of it or he's just some kind of terrorist simp, this doesn't matter. It's my critique of what's going on here. And people, you don't have to defend Hassan when he does bad things. You can just not. Kimra Luna says, I watched all the guy's videos. He's not doing propaganda for any. What are you talking about? Again, this is why we have screenshots. His account is public. You can see what he posts, right? Let's it's 6 o'clock, so I guess we can start. Let's start. Let's go to what we got here. Let me see if this works. It's not as, I'm a boomer in this. I'm sorry, gang. Give me a second. Let me make it a little bigger for you. Boom, 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 boom. I'll be doing a lot of this tonight. This is from his Instagram account, gang. Okay. Would you like to read aloud for the class, Kimra? What that says? Would you like to tell us a little bit about what that phrase he's using means? Do you want to talk about it a little bit? Do you threaten us? And again, here's a picture. This is a guy, right? He's on the beach. Do you threaten us with what we are waiting for, you son of a Jew? Okay. Great guy. Great guy, off to a great start. Oh, but we're not done. Okay. This totally not a terrorist guy, okay? Totally not a militant, totally just some innocent uwu small bean teen. Right? There's him in a military belt with ammo and etc. And looks like a variant of an AK. Pacifist, gang. This is a pacifist, apparently. Okay? Pacifist. Not a terrorist, a pacifist. Looks like every person in Idaho. Okay. You do understand the context difference here, right? Some dude LARPing as a 3%er in Idaho, okay, is also a bad thing, right? Grackle, come on, shut up. Trump won't do shit. They've been in war for 10 years? Yes, and we're going to talk about that, right? We're going to talk about that. But again, this guy came onto Hassan's stream and reportedly called himself a pacifist. This is not a pacifist, okay? This is not a pacifist. You can say all you want about him, but this is not a pacifist. That's not what it looks like. Yes, a pacifist, LOL. That's not what a pacifist is. And here's another one, in case he said it's just like a one-off or whatever. Here he is. Okay, he's got the Yemeni flag, I think. Yemeni flag in the background. Oh, look at these cute little ooh-woo emojis. Just a little ooh-woo blowing up ships emojis, right? Just a little ooh-woo. No propaganda here. Oh, okay. Just a small being cute little terrorist ooh-wooification. No, this guy is running propaganda for slavers and child soldier recruiters. Now, again, the guy grew up in this. I don't blame him for what he is, right? My moral aspersions at him are limited because he had no other option, right? This is how he grew up. But what you don't do, you don't bring him on stream and then ask him about his favorite anime. Oh, you're just like Luffy for real. Oh, One Piece. Oh, you love One Piece? Ooh, woo. What are you doing? Come on, stop it. You can platform people that are heinous. You can platform people that are bad. You can. It's okay. But what you don't do is you throw softball questions and you hype them up, right? And the only reason that he's walking this back now is because the State Department is in the process of redefining the Houthis as a terrorist organization. Biden took them off the terrorist terrorist watch list, organization list. I'm not sure the exact name of it. He took it off back in 2021 in order to better get them aid because, gang, Yemen's struggling, okay? There are some really bad issues. They need humanitarian aid desperately. So Biden, in order to facilitate that process, took the Houthis off the watch list, okay? He tried to negotiate with them. He tried to work with them. He tried to kind of get them to be a little more normal. Now, again, regardless of what you think of that, whether that was right or wrong, and I tend to think that he should have tried, and it's good that he did try, but it's obviously failed. Obviously failed. These guys are still up in their they're blowing up civilian ship arcs. It's really bad. It's just frustrating to me. It's just frustrating to me. We got more later. We got more later. Don't worry. We got I wanna talk about who the Houthis are, how they started, what they're doing now. Why am I so adamant? Okay, why am I so adamant about not supporting these people? Why am I so up in arms about this? There's very good reasons. It's because they're bad dudes. Okay, like, we don't have to simp for terrorists. We don't. We can stop it at any time. You can disagree with what America does. You can disagree with what Israel does. You can disagree with what any of these countries do. You don't have to simp for terrorists. Now, we're going to start with the Houthis, but this is bigger than them. Okay? We need to talk about Iran too. You can't talk about the Houthis without talking about the larger regional conflicts that go involved, including Saudi Arabia and Iran. Okay? Iran is putting their feet on the gas pedal of escalation in regional conflict. Okay? They are acting as if, and they are trying their best to widen this conflict, to spread it out, to make it a regional conflict instead of isolated and localized. Okay? It's a problem, especially if you want peace, if you want this to end, if you want stability in this region. Iran is not acting as if they want this. Their behavior is all towards escalation. We can look at the recent strikes on the Kurds. We can look at the recent strikes on Pakistan. Okay? Again, we're going to get to that. We're going to get to that. It's an issue. Okay? Biden is the one who's spreading out. What are you talking about? What are we supposed to do? Act like the Uvalde police and just wait till they tucker themselves out while they try to kill civilians? What are you talking about? Obviously not. Biden has been restrained, if anything, in how he's responded to this. No civilians have been killed in an American strike, right? I think only if last reported like 6 Houthi militants were killed. Again, no civilian deaths. Hundreds of strikes at this point. Whether it will work is a valid question. Will it work? I don't know. It worked before, 8 years ago. We got them to stop for quite a while, fucking with our shit. It didn't stop them from their regional conflict, obviously. But that's not the goal here, at least for America. The goal is to protect the shipping lanes. So, again, whether it will work or not. Though, recently, there has been reports of drones launched at U.S.-owned vessels. I haven't looked into these reports. I don't know the veracity of them. It's just something I see. Again, we'll go through it. We'll look into it. We'll see how it goes. Yeah. It's one of those things, right? Israel has issues. No doubt. No doubt. They're not good guys. But the Houthis aren't the good guys either. So let's look at some of what the Houthis are. Give me one moment. Let me fix these things. Okay. Here, I'm gonna adjust it for you guys. Again, I wish I was better at this, so you guys can watch it with me. Okay. We're gonna watch a little Vice video, okay? It's gonna be fun. It'll be great. Trying to get as much of it as I can in here. Oh, we're gonna have to go. Zenados Esquire, hi. I don't get to tune in as much as I'd like, but I love what I see. I just want to send love and re-up a sub. Thank you for stopping by, Zenados. Really appreciate you. It all helps. Tell me if you guys can hear this, okay? I'm not sure if the audio is going to work, but let's find out.
The Houthis are not only refusing responsibility for taking the lives of children, they're also recruiting them to the front lines. So far, tens of thousands of them have reportedly been killed fighting to advance the Houthis' military goals.
Okay, I want to just be clear where this information is coming from. It's not pro-Saudi newspaper or anything like that. This is Vice, okay? I also want to be clear that you're talking specifically about the Houthis, but the Houthis aren't the only bad guys in this. Like Yemen itself, Yemen proper, ain't exactly angels. They also use child soldiers. They're bad too. Okay, so I just want to make that clear that I'm not simping for the Yemen proper or anything like that. No, absolutely not. Right? But we got to be clear on who these people are. Okay, let's continue. Let's look. Let's listen. I'm glad you guys can hear it.
So we're just outside a rehab center for kids who have been impacted by war. The majority of children inside here have spent time fighting with the Houthis as child soldiers, and their parents have brought them here or they've managed to escape to hopefully try and recover.
المصاب باضطراب الصدمة النفسية يبدأ ينزوي عن الآخرين ويبدأ يعيش في عالم آخر اسمه عالم إيش؟ عالم الخيال. ممتاز.
مستمتعين خيرات. كنا ما ندرس ولا حاجة في
Let me make sure you guys can see.
Did you go through military training?
تعلمنا جميع المسدسات والأوالي تعلمناهن والمعدات كنا نضرب عليهن.
Why was it that they told you it was necessary to fight?
قالوا لنا أشياء كثيرة. قالوا أنتوا تدخلوا الجنة. تولي تنصروا اليمن. وأصبحوا الناس.
Like, okay, and when we talk about child soldiers, we're not talking about like 16-year-olds or 17-year-olds either. These kids, they're like 10. They're like 10 years old. And they're being raised and trained from very young ages to go fight and die on the front lines of a conflict. This is a tragedy. It's a crisis. It's terrible. It's terrible. So when you simp for the Houthis, this is who you're simping for. People who do this shit. I'm not talking like, prison is slavery. Oh, ooh, bad. No, this is actual literal child soldiers, sending them to fight and die on the front line, putting weapons in their hands and telling them to go out and kill the enemy. People who actually own slaves. These are the people that you are defending when you defend the Houthis.
لا أخوتنا يمنيين. إحنا بنقاتل أخوتنا اليمنيين. شريك.
And what about you? When did you join the Houthis? And what was it like?
صعب. يعني ما كان لي علم كيف أمسك السلاح ولا يعني تخطيطات حقهم كيف أحارب.
What was the most difficult thing about it?
لما صرت الجبهة بس. كان أصعب موقف عندي. لما كان الجسد قدامي. يعني كان بالمقدمة كنا نصط لي وراء. يعني كانوا يقدمونا بالمقدمة وهم بالآخر لا قتل واحد ولا شيء طلعوا. كرهت العيش كنت أتمنى الموت.
I don't know what to say. What do you even say to that? We got our problems here in America, gang. We do. We got our issues. We're not perfect by any means. But my God. My God. This is insane. I don't care how much you hate America. Don't defend this shit. Don't run cover for it. Don't pretend. Don't whitewash it. I don't even know what to say to it, right? Like, I don't even know what to do, right? How do we convince, what will it take to convince people, right? That even if you think the Houthis have a good cause or whatever, this is evil. And I don't use that word lightly, right? If this isn't evil, then nothing is evil. If this isn't evil, then nothing is evil. Evil doesn't exist if this is not evil. And we haven't even gotten started on the slavery, gang. Right? We haven't even gotten started on the slavery. We're going to get into that. Al Jazeera did a great video on that. We're going to watch parts of it. It's going to be, I don't know if great's the right word, but enlightening, hopefully. Okay? You cannot be a good person and defend this. You can't. You can't. Remy says, Wick, you need to understand why it's like this, what caused this. Yes, that's important too. But I can understand and sympathize with the reasons why a situation like it is like it is all I want, while still saying that's evil as fuck and should not be defended. Yeah, I'm not calling if you guys think I'm calling the little kids evil, no, the little kids are kids. They don't have a choice. No, I'm talking about the people who are funding, the people who are making the policy and enforcing the policy, the people recruiting these kids, the people training these kids, the people sending these kids to die. That's who are evil. Yeah, Wick hates children confirmed. Okay, here we go. Mooncake says people defending the Houthis are brain dead. Yes. But they've been poisoned by this idea that America is so evil, is the greatest evil in the world, and must be stopped at all costs. Those kinds of comments, right? When you hear any means necessary. When people say that, this is what they mean. Okay? This is what they mean. This is where that line of thinking gets you. When they say any means necessary, this is where that line of thinking takes you. Right? And you have to push back against it no matter where it comes from, right? When you got IDF simps saying, oh, we need to eliminate Hamas by any means necessary, push back. Absolutely not. Not by any means necessary. No. Under no circumstances do we engage in certain actions. Okay? That's not okay. That's not good to do. That's not something we would do even if it would solve our problem or get us closer to our goal. We just put things and take things off the table completely. And this is one of the clearest things that everyone should agree on, to take off the table completely. Completely. Rabid Wombat. I'm not even going to read that. It's funny, but I'm not even going to read that. Food Chops will get her day in court once we set it up. Pretty damning, but that's different conversation altogether, okay? Don't distract me. Don't distract me from what I'm doing tonight. we are going to be talking about the Houthis, and that's who we're going to be concentrating on. And Iran. Iran's going to get theirs too. Don't you worry. Don't you wash. What happened with food shops? Again, you're distracting me, gang. You're distracted. Ha ha ha. Funny. Okay. Let's see. Let's look at an article. Maybe the video didn't convince you. Maybe you're like, oh, it's just small snippets. It's just cut out. Maybe we need to do something a little more in depth. So let's see if I can't get this on screen so we can see it properly. Oops. Again, I wish I was better at this, but we are going to do what we can do, gang. We are going to try our very darndest. Okay. We're going to, oops, don't want to show those. We are going to try our darndest, and we are going to go through this article together. This is from Afra Nasser, a non-resident fellow at the Arab Center of Washington, D.C. Hooray. There's the source. You guys can look it up. Okay. Child soldiers in Yemen. Cannon fodder for an unnecessary war. This was published back in February, gang. Okay. So, again, this is something that's been going on for a long time. But, you know, we're talking about it now because the Houthis are disrupting international trade, and Biden ordered some strikes on that. So that's why that's the news. But this isn't like, these things don't go away when we stop paying attention to them. They don't not exist when we don't cover them. These are some of the horrors that these regions have to deal with on a daily basis and have for years. It's horrific. It's hard. It's hard to even talk about, right? There's just so much here. Okay, let's go through it. Recruitment of children as actual or auxiliary soldiers in Yemen's ongoing war is one of the most dire developments in the conflict since its initial eruption in 2014. Driven to the front lines by the machinations of invested leaders, financial need, tribal solidarity, and other reasons, children have paid a heavy price, one that will continue to accrue for years to come and will affect all of Yemeni society. Aside from it being a war crime under international law, using Yemen's children as fuel for a seemingly endless war will deprive them and their country of the chance to build both a modern economy that can guarantee a decent standard of living and a sovereign state that can safeguard the rights of its people. And that's not all. Okay, I'm going off script here. This is what the article says. This is Wick talking now, not the article. When you make your children into frontline fighters, into soldiers, even auxiliary soldiers, right? Even support troops and support staff, etc. You are not only when it comes down to like depriving them a chance to build a modern economy, you're destroying them as a person, right? As an adult, I joined the military and I didn't see frontline action, but there were still things that I did participate in and saw that were really hard on me, gang. Okay? Really hard. I know people who don't exist anymore, right? Because of some of the things that happened. As hard as it was for me to deal with when I was well past the age of maturity, like I was like 30, 32, 28, etc. Yeah, for a child, this stays with you forever. It ruins your ability to be a person in certain ways. So to do this to your people, to your children, it fundamentally changes your society, your culture. It fundamentally alters who grows up in your culture and your society. It perpetuates a cycle of violence and terror and basically just exploitation of the most innocent people we can imagine. And again, I want to reemphasize this. It's not just the Houthis who are doing this. Okay? So when people say, oh, well, the other side does it too. Yeah, and we should stop that too. We shouldn't just stop at the Houthis. There are other actors that engage in these horrific practices that probably should be brought to heel. Okay? Maybe that's a little warhawk of me, but it is what it is. So let's keep reading for a little bit, shall we, gang? Walking down any street of Yemen's capital city, Sana'a, which is controlled by the Houthi insurgent group, officially known as Ansar Allah, one quickly notices posters and photos pasted on walls and advertising stands that show the group's child soldiers who were killed in the conflict, all dressed in military uniform. The Houthi armed group has recruited and utilized thousands of children in the fighting. And indeed, all parties to the conflict in Yemen have recruited children. According to the annual report of the UN Secretary General on Children in the Armed Conflict, released in July 2022, children in Yemen have been recruited by the internationally recognized government of Yemen, IRGY, pro-government militias, the Houthis, unidentified perpetrators. So, yeah, you just got everyone getting in on the child recruitment here. It's a shit show. It's a horror. I know I'm being a little facetious about this. I know I'm kind of... Look, you have to laugh or you'll cry. Okay, gang? You have to laugh or you'll cry. These things are... They're a lot. Let's continue. The security belt forces in the so-called Islamic State. UNICEF reported at the end of last year that the UN has verified that 3,995 children have been recruited, both boys and to a lesser extent girls, have been recruited since 2015. And the report admits that the actual numbers are likely much higher. So they can only verify 4,000 kids, okay? 4,000 kids. But the actual numbers are probably higher. Again, we can only speculate what that means. I don't know. I think 4,000? Well, I'm sorry. 3,995. Look, I'm just going to say 4,000. It's easier. Okay. 4,000? That's plenty to be oh shit about, okay? Again, we're not talking about collateral damage. We're not talking about they happen to be in a war zone. We're talking about people, kids, who were actively recruited, given training and weapons, and sent to fight. Oh. And this is the kind of thing that, when you're defending the Houthis, this is what you're defending. Look. Again, I want to be clear. The other side isn't better. All sides do this. But I'm not here simping for the RGY. I'm not out here simping for them. You don't see me defending them. Okay? Watcher says, well, sending children, soldiers is a logical thing to do. Once you run out of grown men to send into the meat grinder, it's also better to send children and people you don't see as equal to you anyways. Keeps the casualties of those you do care about limited. It all tracks in this kind of BS ideology they're running with. This is the horror of evil, right? Like, the justification of it. And there's plenty of people who will justify horrific acts like this. Like, they have to do it because they have to, because look at what Saudi Arabia, and look at the conditions that they grew up in, so they kind of have to. No, they don't. Evil is a choice. Child recruitment is a choice. Slavery is a choice. And you can say no. You can choose not to engage in those. You can choose to be like, nah, we're not going to do that. If you lose, you lose. I would rather die than be a slaver. I would rather die than recruit a child, a 6-year-old, 8-year-old, 10-year-old kid to fight for me. I would rather lose and die. You think I'm being facetious? I am not. There are lines we do not cross. There are things we do not do under any circumstances. Under any circumstances. Keep reading. The Office of the United Nations, the Office of the United Nations High Commissioner for Human Rights reported in 2017 that the majority of the reports it has received of child recruitment were committed by the popular committees affiliated with the Houthis. Local Yemeni human rights group, SAM for Rights and Liberties, together with Euromed Human Rights Monitor, reported in 2021 that data has gathered shows that the Houthi group alone has recruited 10,333 children since 2014. $10,000! What? Hold on. I'm confused. Okay. No, this is a serious question. So, I guess this group, the UNICEF, could only verify 3,995, but this group says that the Houthis alone, right? Again, I want to acknowledge there's a bunch of groups doing this. It's not just the Houthis. But apparently, according to these two groups, the Houthis alone recruited over 10,000. So I'm curious. I'd be curious to see the methodology and things like that. I wonder why there's such a huge discrepancy in numbers here. I'm not sure. Let's read this quote. Children who act as combatants in armed groups, militias, and even government forces typically engage in warfare in a variety of ways, including fighting, spying, laying mines, and working at security checkpoints. Recruitment of children under the age of 18 is a direct violation of existing Yemeni legislation, including the Juvenile Welfare Act established in 1992 and the Rights of the Child Act established in 2002. And recruitment of children under 15 is defined as a war crime by the International Criminal Court. Regardless, children who act as combatants in armed groups, militias, and even government forces typically engage in warfare in a variety of ways. Oh, we already read that. Okay. Look, you can say, well, oh, this other country is doing bad things too. Israel and its strikes on Gaza are over the top and killing kids, and that's also bad. Agreed. But here's the thing. Calling out one thing as bad doesn't mean you defend the other people they're fighting with or anything like that. I'm not. I'm not defending the RRGY. I'm not defending the other groups in Yemen that are involved in the civil war. I'm not defending Saudi Arabia. Okay? At all. But what you won't catch me doing is having a Houthi quote-unquote pirate on my stream and then asking them about their anime favorites. Okay? If I were to have a Houthi pirate, quote-unquote, on my stream, I would have serious questions for them. It would be a serious topic. It would not be a meme. We would not discuss anime. Yes, I don't blame people who were raised in these conditions. What choice do you have? As a 19-year-old kid in Yemen, what choice do you have? You don't have very many. Your freedom is extremely limited. You've been raised from birth, right? From a very young age, that the enemy needs to be killed, and you are being trained as a soldier to do it. Yeah, it's I don't know. Look, if any of us were in that situation, I don't think we would have turned out better. But what I can blame is the leadership of that country. Who I can blame is the people running cover for them that live in their heated homes in the West that are free from all of this nonsense. Okay? That's who I can blame. You don't have to support this. You don't have to support anyone over there. You can wash your hands of the region and say, you know what? We need to pivot to Asia because this ain't working. Okay? This ain't working. Oh. Let's keep reading. Okay. Since the beginning of the Yemen conflict in 2014, child recruitment has become extremely prevalent among parties to the conflict. In December 2018, the New York Times reported that Saudi Arabia has recruited Sudanese children as child soldiers and sent them to the battlefield. Moreover, the UN group of eminent international and regional experts on Yemen reported in 2021 that it has investigated cases of children being recruited in Yemen, trained in Saudi Arabia, and used in hostilities in Yemen by the Saudi-led coalition and government of Yemen. You know what? That's evil. That's evil. But we can't excuse one evil for another. Oh, they're doing an evil thing, so it justifies our evil thing. Can't do it. I mean, you can, but you look like a fool. You look like it's nonsense. It's nonsense, gang. It's nonsense. Child recruitment has also been taking place among Yemen's UAE-backed non-state armed groups. The UN group of eminent international and regional experts on Yemen reported in 2020 that the UAE was providing support to nearly 90,000 fighters in Yemen. Some of these fighters are known to be children. Again, we're just reiterating things at this point. The Security Belt Forces and the Shabwani Elite Forces are some of the major UAE-backed armed groups in Yemen. The Security Belt Forces, established in 2016, are the military unit affiliated with the UAE-backed Southern Transitional Council, a political council seeking to establish a sovereign and independent federal state in southern Yemen. Again, Yemen's a hodgepodge of groups. It's not just Houthis versus the IRGY. There's other... Look, it's a whole thing, okay? It's almost beyond the scope of what we have today to get into Yemen and all its issues. But we're going to focus on the child. We're going to focus on the child exploitation and the child recruitment for war, and we're going to focus on the slavery. Those are the things we're going to focus on today. Okay. So the Security Belt Forces have recruited children, according to a UN report published last year, and Yemen's National Commission to Investigate Alleged Violations of Human Rights reported in 2021 that the Shabwani Elite Forces had recruited one child. That's still bad, even if it's just one. One child. Why one? Like, I have questions about that, honestly. Like you did it one time as a test to see? The People's Elbow. It was funny last week seeing all the lefty Twitch streamers using the same stream to all Biden bombs Yemen. When I called them on it, they claimed that they weren't critical of Biden's actions, although their condemnation sure told another story. I can't speak for other streamers. I don't know what they said. But yeah, what? This one kid that got recruited, like, was he like the most baddest motherfucker in his kindergarten? Was he like some fucking freakazoid, like, 6 foot 5th grader or some shit? Like one kid? Why one? Why? What's going on? Factors behind the recruitment of children. Before the outbreak of the current... I'm sorry. I know it's not funny. It's not. But it's... I don't know. That's how I deal with stress, gang. I laugh. I'm sorry. I apologize. I don't know what else to do with it. Right? I gotta laugh or I'm gonna cry. It's one of the two things, okay? Oh, Watcher, we're gonna get to that. We're gonna get to that. Yeah, that's an issue. I agree. We'll get there. Factors behind the recruitment of children. Before the outbreak of the current conflict, during former President Ali Abdullah Saleh's rule, I don't know if I said that right. I'm sorry if I butchered the name. The recruitment of children happened mainly within government forces. In those days, the defense sector was one of the state's most stable institutions, providing steady salaries. The situation encouraged families to alter their children's birth certificates to raise their ages to 18, allowing them to enlist in the army and receive a salary. However, children didn't necessarily participate in belligerent military activities of the time. That's still bad, gang. I want to be clear that that's still bad, but that's a different kind of bad, okay? That's a different kind of bad. That's unfortunate. That's wrong. That's immoral. I don't know if I'd call that evil, but it's still bad. Still wrong. Still should stop. The majority of Yemen's child soldiers come from destitute families and regions and are lured with money. Another factor affecting such enlistment was the fact that Yemeni social customs and traditions associate carrying a gun with prestigious status and power, including when it comes to children. There is also a tendency in Yemeni culture to perceive someone who is 15 or 16 as an adult and no longer a child. At this age, individuals are expected to work, especially if they are already married, having been victims of the practice of child marriage. Laws established prior to the conflict to prohibit child recruitment, such as the aforementioned Juvenile Welfare Act and the Rights of the Child Act, turned out to be extremely weak because they failed to deter perpetrators by mandating and enforcing concrete punishments. The lack of legislation to ban child marriage has also had an indirect but significant effect on child recruitment. Unable to afford to feed and take care of their children, families escape poverty by marrying off their children young. Married children tend to have children directly after marriage and remain illiterate and without the skills to raise and take care of their children. Child marriages lead to an abundance of children in a family that is already struggling with poverty. It is not unusual in Yemen to find a man or a woman, especially in rural areas, who is still in their 20s, yet is already a grandparent. And people who were married as children often push their children to do any kind of work to make money, even if it means taking part in war. In a country where nearly half the population of 34 million is under 18, children are always plentiful. Given the profound economic crisis that Yemen is currently facing, children have been the victims of economic exploitation and growing poverty. Reasons for child recruitment vary from one area to another. However, the most common reason behind it is success. Its success is dire economic circumstances. The destruction of vital infrastructure during the conflict has destroyed livelihoods, including those relying on farming and fishing systems, making an already dire situation even worse. And the war economy has made participation in armed conflict and related industries one of the key sources of income in the country. Damn. The majority of Yemen's child soldiers come from destitute families and regions and are lured with money. Through a combination of coercion, solicitation with salaries, and propaganda, children are recruited and they are easily lured by the promises of salary of 20,000 Yemeni reals, approximately $80. Accommodation, a daily supply of khat, a plant that acts as a stimulant when chewed, tobacco, and other benefits. The salary makes a child feel that they will soon be in a better economic situation, will be able to transfer some of the money to their family, and thereby improve their economic situation as well. I can already hear you guys. I can already hear some of you. Screaming, oh, this is just like the U.S. military recruiters who go to high schools to recruit young high school people to be in the military. I already hear it. I already hear it in my head. I already hear you guys making these like conflations and trying to flatten it out to be the same thing. You can be against that. Army recruitees going to high school and hyping up the military, and to recognize there is a fundamental difference between going to a high school and trying to encourage people once they become 18 to enlist in the military, and going and finding a 10-year-old and buying them from their parents to serve in the military. These are not the same. These are not the same at all. Stop. Stop immediately. Okay? I hate it. And the dumbest motherfuckers on the planet do this kind of shit all the time. Okay? They'll see a practice that the U.S. does that has problems, and in some cases is wrong, and they will say, see, this is just like this horrific, like, evil practice that is done by this other country that is, on all metrics, worse. They're not the same. Okay? They're not the same. Yeah, it's sneaky shit. Sneaky shit. Sorry, I'm eating. I'm hungry. Again, I didn't plan on streaming tonight. But we're gonna. Better Methodist. Uh-oh, WhickTV calling out dumb motherfuckers in the chat. I haven't even been looking at chat, gang, to be clear. No, I've kept a small eyeball on it to make sure you guys aren't, like, going off on slurs and some shit. But, mostly I'm just sticking to... I'm sticking to ranting today. Today's a rant day, gang. Again, I didn't plan on anything today. Today is shit. I saw some shit. People said some shit. People made me angry. So now I have to go on and explain why they're retarded. Okay, that's what we're doing today. Yes, reading. I'm reading the entire time. And no doubt am I reading the entire time. Skill tree gaming, they're being inclusive and not ageist, Wick. Yeah? Is this inclusivity? Diversity? Right? What's the worst slur you can say in chat? You can't say any slurs in my chat. Slurs are bad. Slurs are bad. Oh, damn. Rabid, I can't read these comments of yours, but they're fire, okay? They're fire. Let's see. What else do we have? Oh, I think. Well, have we gotten the point on the child soldiers bit? Are we good on that? Are we on the same page? We recognize that Houthi is doing this, okay? That they are engaging in the recruitment of, by some reports, over 10,000 kids, okay? And that doing so makes them evil motherfuckers. Any complaints? Any pushback? Anyone wanna step up and defend child soldiers? Anyone? Bueller? Anyone in chat? Am I framing it wrong? Are these 10-year-olds just really gun happy? Like, are we going to compare them to some 10-year-old in the U.S. and Idaho taking a picture of their gun? Is that what we're going to do? Good? No? Great. Awesome. Let's move on. Let's talk about... Okay, so I started with the least bad, okay? I started with the least of their sins. That's where we started tonight. Child soldiers, as horrific and evil as it is the least of their sins. People's elbow. So who specifically is simping for the Houthis? So I guess I'll explain. I made the mistake of making a comment on Hassan's Twitter, and I got the most brain-dead people coming into my mentions talking about how, the Houthis, they're just freedom fighters. They're just trying to stand up against the genocide of Gaza. They're just small beans who woos. The guy that Hassan had on wasn't even a terrorist. He's just a small bean who woo guy. He's just misunderstood. He said he was a pacifist. You gotta believe him. And I was like, nah, these motherfuckers are retarded. We need to show them what the straight dope is. We need to get on the system. We need to get on the stream. And we need to use our voice to my audience, small though it may be, to let you know what's up. Okay? Let you know what's up. So let's talk about what I feel is the greater evil that Houthi is participating in. That Houthi is reinstating. That not just the Houthis, and I want to be clear, there's a lot of regional actors, the 𝕾𝖎𝖙 and others in the region that also do this same thing. But it's bad. It's bad, gang. I'm using small words so Hassan's viewers can, understand and follow along. Okay? Let's talk about slavery. Not prison is slavery, actual owning of human beings, enforcing them, and their children, right, to work for you. And when you die, your slaves get divvied up by your kids. Okay, so these are no shot slavery. Okay, let's talk about it. Let's go. And before you say, oh, you're just going to give this Saudi Arabia, it's going to be a propaganda piece. Is Al Jazeera Saudi Arabian propaganda? I don't think it is. Let's watch a video, gang. Let's watch a video together. I know we're probably not going to go through all this video. It's a long video. But we're gonna touch on it. We're gonna talk about it, and we are going to really hit this home. And I want you to see what's going on over there. Okay, I want to see it. Tell me if you can hear it. Let's go. Let me see if I can scroll it up so you guys can see the subtitles when they come on. Okay, you can hear it? Good, good. Starting off strong. Scenes of the...
Slavery is illegal throughout the world, banned by international convention and treaty. But there's at least one country where it's alleged still to exist: Yemen.
اسمي نسيم زيد سعد حجوري. لما بلغ عمري تقريبا 6 سنة أو 7 خبرتني أمي إني عبد السيد، وبعد فترة مات هذا السيد وبدأوا أولاده المالكين للتركة بالتقسيم، وتقسمونا أنا وإخواني وأمي وصار كل واحد في مكان.
Move me over a little bit so you can see it better. Okay, so 6 or 7 years old, he gets told by his parents, these motherfuckers own your ass, right? You were a slave. And when your owner dies, your family is broken apart because your owner's kids take ownership of the different slaves, right? Like, so they split up your family. This is some chattel slavery shit. This is some chattel slavery shit. Okay? Infamous, we are all slaves to money. You shut the fuck up. This isn't the same. Are you seriously trying to compare having to work for a living to being a slave? It's not the same at all. Let's keep watching. Oh, is this a commercial? Oh, goddamn it. Hold on. Sorry, ignore the commercial.
This is an investigation into slavery in Yemen, with local journalists and human rights campaigners forming part of the Al Jazeera team. In June 2010, a local Yemeni newspaper, Al-Masdar, reported that slavery not only existed, but was growing in Yemen.
So, again, I want to be clear on the timeline here. This was outlawed as a practice by Yemen in 1962. But apparently in 2010, there were reports that slavery was making a comeback, okay? Specifically, female sex slaves, okay? But we're gonna get into it, right? We're gonna get into it. We're gonna look at it, and we're gonna see what they have to say. There were a lot of human rights groups, at least one human rights group at the time, calling this out, saying, hey, this is a growing problem in this region. There's a growing problem here. Yeah, let's keep going.
It published the story of 500 alleged slaves in the country. This surprised some Yemeni campaigners.
لم نكن نتوقع أن يوجد ما زال يوجد عبيد في القرن العشرين ما زال يوجد عبيد في اليمن.
Al-Mazda reported that an alleged slave in Hajjah, in northwestern Yemen, had been freed. It said that 𝕾𝖍𝖎𝖙 had been bought by someone called 𝕵𝖔𝖎𝖙𝖘𝖍𝖔𝖜. With the slave then under his protection, Suhail had a local judge sign and certify documents declaring 𝕵𝖍𝖎𝖙 a free man. Omar al-Omki followed the case closely.
That's some Schindler's List shit, right? You buy a slave to free them? I mean, cool. I don't know anything else about this guy or this situation, I want to be clear. But that alone is probably a good act, right? Let's keep it going.
القاضي هادي أبو عساج هو من قام بتعميد هذا الصك، والهدف انه ابلاغ المجتمع بما هو موجود يعني، واعطاه هذا الشخص العبد، اعطاه ورقه تثبت حريته، يعني كان هدفه نبيل، لكن الورقه كانت فضيحه على الجمهوريه اليمنيه، على القضاء. البعض نظر اليها بانها كانت يعني اعتراف من الدوله بمثل هذا السلوك.
This revelation caused a media stir. Al-Mazda reported that the government had sacked the judge and launched a raid in the area where the freed 𝕵𝖍𝖎𝖙 had lived. Can
you imagine that, by the way? Right, this is what I mean when I say no one over there is a good guys, okay? This is the Yemeni government, okay? I want to be clear. Because it embarrasses you that slavery is growing in your country, you decide to fire the guy who approved the freeing of one of the slaves. So this guy, this judge, right, good on him. He wanted to bring awareness to the issue. He wanted to raise saying, hey, gang, there's slavery in this part of the world still, where we got literal slaves here. I had to write an order, right, to make it official that one was free. And because of this, because it embarrassed the government at the time, he gets fired, and they do this raid in the area, right? Like, to be honest, they probably should have raided the area, because that's what you do when you have slavers. You raid them, and you get rid of them. But, you know, it's just it's a shit show.
قامت الدولة بإنزال حملة عسكرية وأمنية إلى المنطقة، وابتزت الناس، وقامت بالدخول إلى بيوتهم والاعتداء عليهم ونهب ممتلكاتهم. أخافتهم، اضطروا إلا أنهم ينكروا هذه الظاهرة رغم وجودها.
But the story died down. No one other than the media and campaigners seemed worried that slavery might still exist in Yemen. The government dismissed the Al-Mazda reports and insisted they were entirely unfounded. But Al Jazeera decided to investigate the Al-Mazda claims in more detail. To start with, it would need the kind of knowledge that only local contacts could provide. In a country where information can be hard to come by.
So this was published in 9 years ago. So this isn't a recent report. This is 9 years ago that they were talking about this. So 2014, 2015, that area, right? Remember, again, I'm not sure if this is before things kicked off again in 2014 in Yemen or not. But this is with Saudi Arabia versus the Houthis, etc. So I'm not sure exactly when this happened, okay? But this is something that is not new. Not new. Again, it's too long to go over the whole video. So we're not going to, but I just wanted to kind of bring to your attention that this is something that's been investigated, not just now, but for a long time. This isn't something that is just hot off the press, okay? Now, there was a report that we are going to read, an exclusive report talking about the Houthis in particular. And we're going to read that. A lot of people dismiss it because it's from a Saudi Arabian newspaper, apparently, allegedly. I don't think we should dismiss it. I think the reporting is it's concerning in the context of everything else going on. So we're going to read that too. Let's watch a little bit more of this, and then we're going to transition. Is that okay, gang? Everyone good with that? Again, I didn't plan to stream tonight, so we're just kind of going off the seat of our pants a little bit here. I hope that's okay. It better be, because that's what we're doing. So let's keep going.
Snap your W-2 and
I don't care about you, commercials.
Free with TurboTax
I don't
Free
care.
Edition.
𝕾𝖍𝖎 al-Sadi works for the Yemeni human rights organization WhickTV. He and Hadi Wardan had been investigating slavery for a while. They knew the subject and the risks involved.
تواصلنا بالأخ هادي وردان مسؤول المؤسسة قام بالتأكد وقال لنا بأن هناك فعلا حالات رق عبودية. أرسلنا فريق لتقصي الحقائق وكنا نظن أن الموضوع بسيط. أصبحنا أمام وجود حالة رق عبودية وبين أن المجتمع والدولة ينكرها وجود هذه الظاهرة.
Come on, get to the actual evidence. I get that these are scenes that you want to do.
𝕾𝖍𝖎 already had close first-hand knowledge of the slave trade. In 2013, he'd succeeded in freeing a slave called Nasim Hajouri. The whole incident was kept quiet for fear of government reprisals. Al Jazeera now began working undercover with al-Sadi and Wardan to establish evidence of slavery and how it worked. They were warned of the challenges of making a television program in Yemen. This initial investigation would take several months.
Some slaves are inherited after the slave owner dies. So again, when people say, oh, slavery is still alive and well today in the U.S., you got prisoners of slavery, there's a fundamental difference, okay, between prison and what's going on here. It's just a fundamental difference. And I don't know how else to explain it other than to showcase, okay? Remember the start of this show, this dude was 6 or 7 years old, and he was a slave. And when his owner died, he was, again, divvied up. His family was broken apart. His brothers, sisters, right? Mom, dad, broken apart, and gone with whatever, whichever of the owner's children won them in the custody battle, okay? Portland is burning. If your prison warden dies, you get a new prison warden. What is the difference? I'm very smart. Shut up. Shut up. It's not, again, it's not the same. It isn't the same. It's just not. Again, we're going to be very brief on this. I don't want to take up the whole show watching this, but we are going to go on it. We are going to read there's an article that perhaps is more to the point, but I wanted to watch a little bit of this with you. So we're going to watch maybe another minute, maybe another 2. We'll see if it gets going, right? Okay.
تواصلت بالأخ هادي وردان لكي يبحث لنا عن مستعبدين أو شخص يملك عبيد. بحث عن شخص كان لديه عبدين ابن وأبيه ويريد مننا تحريرهم. فكان منه أنه يطلب مبلغ مالي يعني بحدود $25,000.
Hey, how much did Hassan raise for Gaza? $1 billion? How many Yemeni slaves could he free with that much money? $25,000 back in 2015-ish? 2013? I forget what the date was here. Let's assume it raised in price. Let's assume it's $30,000 now, okay? How many, like, if we wanted to, like, get rid of slavery, and you didn't want to use force to do it, that is one way to do it, is to buy these slaves and to free them. Now, that has its own problems. It creates a market which is why I'm pro-violence when it comes to slavers. I think that they shouldn't get $25,000. I think they should get a bullet. Perhaps spicy to say. But yeah, I don't know. It's not hypocritical for anyone to raise money for people in Gaza. I'm not saying it is. I'm just saying that he could also, instead of simping for the Houthis, perhaps use his fundraising power to free some of the slaves. I don't know. Just a thought.
حالات كثيرة كانوا يطرحوا لنا الملاك بأنه يريد منا.
Whoa, wait a minute. Hold on. $25,000 and then hold on. Okay, this changes the game. Another one at 4 to 5 million. What's with the price difference? What is this? Yeah, the video we're gonna like I said, the video's long. Okay. It goes into slavery in Yemen and the practitioners, but it's just too long for consumption on stream. I wanted to kind of hit the just kind of make you guys aware in video format. But we are going to be looking at an article that talks about it as well. And we're going to do that right now. Are you guys bored of the video? We can move on. We can move on. That's fine. But I just wanted to be clear, right? That these sources aren't just from Saudi Arabia. This is from Al Jazeera. We saw something else from Vice earlier, right? There are more than just Saudi Arabia is making these accusations and making these claims. It's not simply just Saudi propaganda here. That's what I wanted to make very clear in this segment that I'm doing here. But yeah. Let's read the article a little bit. First of all, how's my YouTube guys doing? YouTube gang doing well? YouTube gang doing good? I should have pre-watched Honkler. Yeah, it's true, I should have. But again, I wasn't going to stream tonight. Hi, Wick. Hi, Honkler. $32,000 is a lot. Yeah, it's a little less than what I make a year. A little more sometimes. Right. Everyone good? Everyone good? Doing some stretches? Get some stretches in? Yeah, Saudi and Qatar have their own human rights problems. We'll get to them. Don't you worry. Once Biden's finished with the Houthis, we can talk about the Saudis. We could talk about Qatar. We could talk about all these other places and peoples. What you're arguing for is simply an expansion of what I want done, right? Simply more of what I want. I'm good with it. Cool. I'm open to more discussions on other slavers that need to be bombed out of existence. I'm more than willing to have that discussion. Can you identify these slavers? Can we verify that they're slavers? Cool. Then let's get rid of them. I agree. Yeah, I don't know. Let's keep going. Let's read a little bit. Let's read. This is, I think you've all seen this article, but it bears going through. Yes, I think we should bomb slavers out of existence. Slavers should not exist. Do you disagree? Now, this is important. Do you disagree with that statement? Do you think slavers should be met with force? I think they should, if we can, if we have the ability. And that's a question, right? Like, do we have the ability to actually eliminate them? It's a fair question. Pragmatism has to come into play. But if you can, I think you should get rid of slavers. Thank you for the bits, 𝕻𝖎. I don't think I'm for bombing countries based on human rights. Well, I am. I think that if a country has and engages in genocide or slave trade, that we, if we can, use military force to stop them from doing that. Again, I think Biden's strikes on the Houthis were a great example of how this can be done without great amounts of collateral damage. Again, what we've done over 100 strikes now in the area. 0, goose egg civilian casualties. It's great. Let's read the report, my friends. Give me one moment. Let us look. Oh. Here we go. Let me again adjust the size here. Exclusive. Houthis restore slavery in Yemen. Fun times. This was a report written on Wednesday, the 17th of January in 2024. So very, very recent, okay? Very, very recent report. It is from the 𝕬𝖎 al-Aswat newspaper, which, again, reportedly is a Saudi Arabian either funded or sympathetic newspaper. So I wanted just to be clear where the source is coming from. You can make your own conclusions, but we're going to read it. We're going to look. Boom, 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 boom. Here we go. Modern slavery is prevalent in Yemeni regions under the control of the Iran-backed Houthi militias, including the capital, Sana'a. I don't know if I'm pronouncing the words right. Forgive me if I am. Sources close to the group told 𝕬𝖎 al-Aswat told that guy that several civilians have been forced into slavery by prominent Houthi leaders. More than 1,800 Yemenis work as servants and slaves at the residences and workplaces of high-ranking Houthi officials. These including militia's leader 𝕵𝖔𝖎𝖙 al-Houthi, his brother 𝕵𝖚l and their relatives Muhammad Ali al-Houthi, Hamza al-Houthi, Abdul-Karim al-Houthi, Muhammad Abdul-Karim al-Houthi, Yahya, my pronunciation gang. I feel bad pronouncing these things really bad. Yahya Badreddin al-Houthi, Sheikh Ashraf al-Qabsi, Abdurrab Saleh Jarfan, Hassan Ammar, and others. The Houthis are working tirelessly to restore slavery in Yemen, nearly 70 years after the adoption of the Universal Declaration of Human Rights and decades after the 1962 revolution in Yemen. The revolt called for liberation against all forms of oppression and slavery. Several local reports have confirmed that slavery witnessed a rise in Yemen during the past 4 years when the Houthis staged their coup against the legitimate government. Crimes linked to modern slavery vary from actual slavery, abusing people's poverty and hunger, forced marriage, human trafficking, and the forced recruitment of children, women, and African migrants. Again, let's be clear. The Houthis aren't the only bad guys. And we would be remiss if we did not point out that the legitimate government, quote unquote, also, at the very least, seems to have covered up slavery in its country. Okay, at the very least. So we would be remiss if we did not point that out. Again, there are no good guys. You don't have to pick a team here. You can say that, hey, all these guys are bad guys. And, oh, look, they're fucking with our shipping lanes. Oh, that just gives it an excuse to kill some slavers. I'm okay with it. Let's keep going. Yemeni activists revealed that since the coup, the Houthis sought to segregate Yemeni society into rulers and subjects, and masters and slaves. They told 𝕬𝖎 al-Aswat that the Houthis are attempting to cement these ideas in society by having the Houthi family seize all aspects of the state and its institutions. We do not doubt this segregation because it is a literal implementation of racist ideology that is based on modern slavery and the divine right to control rule, money, and the affairs of the people, they said. A member of the lawyers' syndicate in Yemen told 𝕬𝖎 al-Aswat that some Houthi elders and social figures still enslave the poor, bind their freedoms, and force them to work without pay. They are also forced to the battlefield to fight for the Houthis. And again, we know from our earlier talk, our earlier reports or earlier discussions that the Houthis and Yemen and all of these motherfuckers have no problem recruiting child soldiers, okay? Is it any wonder, is it any surprise that they would do the same with slaves? None. Okay. The Houthi discrimination against the people is based on color, race, and ancestry, he said, on a condition of anonymity. The masters, who call themselves the Hashemites, are now at the top of Yemen's social class. They believe themselves to be the purest ancestry and have given themselves the privilege of ruling the country and accumulating wealth. They are followed by tribes, workers, and farmers. This class is often looked down upon and discriminated against by the Houthis. Slavery is outlawed by Yemeni law, said the lawyer. Perpetrators can face no less than 10 years for buying, selling, and depriving a human of his free will. Since their coup, the Houthis have sought to turn back the hands of time and take back Yemen to the era of the oppressive imamate and all forms of slavery. A civilian who works for a pro-Houthi tribal leader in Sada told Asharq al-Aswat, "I have been working for years at the sheikh's house without pay. I cannot go back to my family or do anything out of my own free will. I do not know the meaning of freedom," he said. He revealed that he is responsible for all the housework as well as farming. He noted that the number of servants and slaves rose remarkably under Houthi rule. I want to be clear here. Rose remarkably implies that they existed before. Okay? So again, I think that putting it all on the feet of Houthis, probably not the wisest move. Probably not correct. But that the Houthis exacerbated it, I think seems pretty well documented. Okay. Keep reading. Experts confirmed that poverty, starvation tactics, oppression, and systemic Houthi exploitation have forced civilians into slavery. We read about this when it came to child soldiers too, right? Same conditions led families to sell their kids to the military in order to make some money and get some cot. The minister of Al-Kaf in the legitimate government had previously called for the need to uncover the Houthis' misleading practices, expose their discrimination against the people, and their dividing of society into masters and slaves. According to an international report, more than 40 million people around the world, including 85,000 in Yemen, are victims of slavery. 85,000. I wish they would have linked to the report. I would have loved to read that. 85 fucking thousand. It said the war-torn countries of Yemen and Syria account for 76% of slavery cases in the Arab world. Syria. Do we remember Syria, gang? Where they had open-air slave markets? I remember Syria. A U.S. State Department report also previously confirmed modern slavery in Yemen, accusing the Houthis and the Al-Qaeda group of promoting slavery and human trafficking. Sexual abuse, slavery, and child recruitment are among the most glaring examples of human trafficking in Yemen, it said. And again, we saw some of these reports earlier. We went through some of these reports earlier. So I want to be extra clear. When you are supporting the Houthis, when you are going off and saying, I think the Houthis are based for trying to stop the genocide in Gaza, I support their interdiction of the status of the shipping lanes. I think they're okay to attack some ships. This is who you're supporting. Slavers, child war recruiters, recruiters for child war. Child soldier recruiters. What's a pithy way to say this? I don't know, but they're recruiting kids as young as 8. Okay, giving them weapons and sending them to the front line to fight. What are you doing? I don't care how uwu they look in a TikTok. I don't care, right? I don't care how cute they are. If you're whitewashing this shit, if you're standing this shit, if you're making little ironic TikToks where you're trying to clout farm off this shit, you are evil. Or at least, again, because kids are kids. And a 19-year-old kid is a kid, right? You are engaging in an evil practice. I do not blame you if you have been raised in this. I do not blame you if this is how you grew up. You had no choice. But if you have lived in California for most of your life, right, and you've decided to run cover for shit like this by having someone engaged in propaganda for the Houthis on your stream, fuck you. I don't know how else to say it. Yes, I am talking about Hassan. Hamas piker, right? And his trying to like reason this out that he's not an actual pirate gang. There's no proof he's an actual pirate. Again, we have evidence that he at least, right, has engaged in propaganda for the Houthis, right, to kind of whitewash them to the Western public. And again, he may not have boarded the ships himself, but if he's involved in that, we do not whitewash that. We do not have these people on and then ask them about their favorite animes. You can have these people on. That's okay. That's okay. I'm not against that. But it's how you deal with them that's important, right? It's how you deal with them. What questions do you ask? What pushback do you give, right? Do you just let them spout their nonsense? How do you frame it to your audience, right? Do you praise their leaders at the end of the show? What are we doing here? What are we doing here? Yeah, again, I did this at the beginning of the stream. Maybe I have to do it again. The guy ain't exactly an innocent either, right? I'll show this screenshot. Oop. Here, let me zoom in on this little bad boy here. Can I? Oh no, I have to. Damn it. Okay, well, you're gonna have to just believe me. Here's a screenshot. He says, do you threaten us with what we are waiting for, son of a Jew? At the very least, this guy's anti-Semitic, okay? Which, again, he's raised in this region. I don't blame him that much for this. What else are you going to be when you grow up in Yemen? You really have no choice. But you don't have to simp for it, gang. You don't have to have him on your show and tell him what a good boy he's been in simping for those Houthi pirates, in doing those cute little cutesy-wootsy TikToks, okay? These propaganda pieces. Ugh. Man, I'm just tired, gang. There's some people in backstage. Do you guys want to talk? I have more stuff to go through. Because we got to talk about Iran a little bit. We're going to talk about Iran. They're not off the hook. Because remember, the Houthis and Iran are linked. They are backed with each other. Okay? Iran is backing the Houthis. Recently, Iran has done some fuck shit. There's some border clashes with Pakistan. Okay? Pakistan has recalled their ambassador in Tehran and have kicked out the Iranian ambassador. Iran has also recently struck at targets that are Kurdish in nature outside of their region of control. They say that they're spies or whatever, but civilians have died in those strikes. I want to be clear, okay? Where the ceasefire now, guys? I don't know. Must be on vacation. They must have been taking a break. I don't know what's going on with them. Whatever. Iran is acting as if they want this to escalate. They are acting as if they want this to be a regional conflict. They want to broaden the scope of what's happening. Saudi apparently is trying to mediate between Iran and Pakistan. We'll see how that goes. China mediation failed when they tried it. India made a statement backing Iran. And if we recall, India and Pakistan are not friends. They almost nuked each other back in the early 2000s, if you remember that. It was a lot of tension, a lot of traditional tensions between there. Real big problem. But yeah, Iran ain't exactly acting as if they want this thing to calm down. Okay, what is going on here? Hold on. Let's read a little bit about Iran before we open it up to calls. How's that? Cool. Let me adjust my thing because I'm bad at tech. Iran says it targeted Iranian terrorist group in Pakistan. Let's read about this. This was again published today at 7:51 a.m. this morning. And this is from Insider Paper, for what that's worth. Tehran's top diplomat said on Wednesday that his country's armed forces targeted an Iranian terrorist group in Pakistan the day before, after Islamabad said the strike killed 2 children. None of the nationals of the friendly and brotherly country of Pakistan were targeted by Iranian missiles and drones, Foreign Minister Hossein Amir-Abdollahian, these names, said on the sidelines of the World Economic Forum in Davos, Switzerland. The so-called 𝕾𝖎𝖎 group, which is an Iranian terrorist group, was targeted, he added. The raid came late on Tuesday after Tehran also launched attacks in Iraq and Syria against what it called anti-Iranian terrorist groups. Pakistan denounced the strike near the nation's shared border, recalled its ambassador from Iran, and blocked Tehran's envoy from returning to Islamabad. A few hours before the strike, Pakistani caretaker Prime Minister Anwar-ul-Haq met Amir-Abdollahian on the sidelines of the Davos Forum. Amir said Iran's attack on Pakistani soil was a response to the 𝕾𝖎𝖎's group recently deadly attacks on the Islamic Republic, particularly on the city of Rask in the southeastern province of Sistan, Baluchistan. I guess today's stream is me mispronouncing Arabic names. Welcome. So you guys remember that attack in Iran, that recent terrorist attack in Iran? Al-Qaeda? Or no, was it no, I think it was ISIS. Yeah, ISIS took credit for it. But before ISIS took credit for it, a lot of people blamed Israel. You guys remember that? You remember that whole debacle? Everyone said, of course. I remember Vosh on stream saying, of course it was Israel. It must be Israel. There is no other explanation. Israel had to have done this. And then like a day, maybe a week later, ISIS is like, no, it was us. Yeah, you don't have to just make shit up, right? Even if you think Israel's bad, you don't have to make shit up. And you look really retarded and you get egg on your face when you are just clearly wrong about that kind of shit. Let's keep going. An attack on January 10th on a police station in the city killed a policeman almost a month after 11 police officers were killed in a similar attack in the area. Both attacks were claimed by, I guess this might be a different terrorist attack that happened. Excuse me, right? Both were claimed by 𝕾𝖎𝖎, Army of Justice, a Sunni Muslim extremist group that was formed in 2012 and is blacklisted by Iran as a terrorist group. The group has taken shelter in some parts of Pakistan's Balochistan province, and adding that we've talked with Pakistani officials several times on this matter. The foreign minister said Iran respected the sovereignty and territorial integrity of Pakistan, but would not allow the country's national security to be compromised or played with. This is clearly, regardless of whether you think they have the right to do this or not, this is clearly an escalation. Can we agree on this, gang? Can we agree that this is an escalation of force, at least? I don't know. Where are the de-escalation folks? I'm hearing crickets. I'm hearing crickets. People who were mad at Biden because it was escalating the tensions in the area, right? Now I don't hear shit. Now I'm not hearing shit from these people. I'm listening. I don't hear shit. Bullshit. That's all bullshit. I'm tired of it, gang. I'm tired of being bullshit. Like, I'm tired of bullshitters bullshitting me. And I'm getting less and less patient with allowing them to just go off queen on me, right? Like, in not calling them out when they are full of nonsense, okay? Again, you don't have to support the Biden strikes. You don't. I think you should, right? I think you should. And we're going to have I want to do a segment on this next week. I want to talk about, I want to get people on who don't support the Biden strikes and people who do. You don't need to be a Houthi supporter to not support the Biden strikes. That's a true statement. You can say, hey, the Houthis are bad people, but I don't think the military response is the right response. That's a valid position to have. I think you're wrong, but it's a valid position to have. I got no issues with it, right? Not morally or anything. That's okay, sure. We just have a different of opinion here, okay? But a lot of people, they're going the extra step, the extra mile, if you will, that they really don't have to, and saying, oh, not only is Biden a wrong guy to do this, is he doing a bad thing by striking them, but the Houthis are actually doing the world a service by trying to protect the Gazan people by interdicting shipping in the area. It's retarded, first of all. And second of all, they're only escalating things when they do this, right? They're only making it harder. And it makes it impossible to cede to your demands. There used to be a saying that we had in America, okay? I don't know what happened to it, but there was a saying, and it was based as fuck. Do not negotiate with terrorists. We do not negotiate with terrorists. There are very good reasons. There are very good reasons that we had that as a policy. Can anyone guess why? Do I have any in the class that would like to tell me why it's probably a bad idea to do negotiations with terrorists? Okay, hint number one. It emboldens and empowers them. If we allow terrorists, violent actors, to have their violent acts substantiated into a form of getting what they want, it emboldens them to do it more. Nothing succeeds like a success. If they can go and target a bunch of civilian ships and shoot missiles, drones, rockets, guns, all these things at civilian ships, interdict them, and engage in piracy, and we let it work, they're just going to keep doing it. They're going to do it even more. They're going to get more bold, and they're going to continue, and it's not going to stop. Why would they ever? It's working. They're getting what they want. Why would they stop? This is why the U.S. had a policy. It's a very good policy. Do not negotiate with terrorists. The only thing a terrorist gets is a bullet. It's feeding the trolls, yeah. People are acting as if, look, people are acting as if we should be the 𝕾𝖎𝖙 cops sitting outside while the Houthis are tuckering themselves out, getting tired of doing all their piracy, okay? We're supposed to sit there on the sidelines, twiddling our fucking thumbs and doing nothing while the terrorists do whatever the fuck they want until they get tired of doing it. We are not look, the lesson to take from Uvalde wasn't to sit on the sidelines. It's when shit's going down, you get in there and you stop it. Again, pragmatism has to come into play. I'm not for boots on the ground or anything like that in this situation. But to limit their ability to engage in strikes against civilian infrastructure and civilian ships is a good thing, and we should do it. And the fact that we don't, and the fact that we haven't, only has emboldened them more. We can look at the state of the world. We have fires popping up. We are not in a world war, but the world is at war in a lot of ways. We have a continuous escalation Okay? A continuous escalation globally. Why? Because America's hegemonic power is lessening. Our ability to police the world is lessening. There's a lot of reasons for that. A lot of reasons for that. But this is a world that we are heading towards, right? To a multipolar kind of anarchy society where it's just every country for themselves in a very large, a very real way. And people who've been like trying to get rid of American hegemony, this is what this looks like. This is what the lessening of American hegemony looks like. Do you like it? Do you think the world's peaceful now? It's not. Now, American hegemony has its problems. It is not perfect. It has some very real issues. This is going to be, it's going to be a lot of pain for a lot of people, gang. A lot of pain for a lot of people. But yes, Biden is doing the exact right thing here when he says, hey, if you attack international shipping, there will be consequences. That is good. That is good. Are you guys not sure what? Do you even know what Wick is talking about? No, do you? Does no one know what I'm talking about? Are you guys not? Am I just ranting? Like, what's going on? You guys understand me or no? Do you guys understand me? Am I coming through clear? Is this thing on? Is this thing on? Right? You guys can hear me? I think many people here on Twitch and in society as a whole are simply unhappy with how things are, and when they see a conflict somewhere out there, they find an angle to make it the fault of the government. Somehow, I call it rebellion by proxy. I mean, yeah, there's a lot of people who are America is bad is their entire ideology. No, that's true. And that unfortunately leads them to supporting some really bad dudes. Again, America isn't perfect. America's got its problems. America has some real systemic issues that we need to fix, but that does not mean we have to simp for slavers and child traffickers and child soldier recruiters. We don't have to. You can say no. You can say no. That's a little step too far. I don't want to do that. That's all. Okay. A lot of people want on. Let's talk. Let's start bringing people on. You guys want to bring some people on? You want to talk? My voice is a little tired. I'm not used to talking this much. Bro Crow, I know what you're talking about, but I fully agree with you. Well, thank you for agreeing with me. Let's bring on some folks. Artemis.
Oh, shit. Hey, how's it going?
I'm just going to bring you all on because you guys obviously have opinions.
Okay.
And I wanted to give you a chance to voice your opinions and have a conversation if you'd like. Have you guys been watching and following the coverage in the stream?
To an extent, the child soldiers thing ran on a little long.
Well, sorry, did I go on too long about how child soldiers were bad for you?
Yes.
Okay, sorry, my bad. I just get really upset when I see child soldiers.
I take umbrage with the fact that you're like, Biden should attempt to reach out to the Houthi terrorists to give aid to the area that they're in, because that's what a good person does. Even though everybody at that time knew that the Houthis were terrorists and that they were using anything and everything to fund their civil war.
Yeah, you see, I'm from Yemen. Can I speak a little bit?
You go for it.
Yeah, okay. If you look at the Houthis are not the government in Yemen. They just overthrew the government, and the Houthis actually were allies of the United States. I know it sounds crazy because I'm from Yemen. I was there. We had an issue in Yemen where we had ISIS and we had the Al-Qaeda of Yemen. It was one of the most dangerous organizations to the United States. What the Houthi did is they got rid of them. They destroyed them. It's like an antibiotic. They were able to do what the government could not do. They killed them all, got rid of them, and that served the United States' interests. That's why they are so... they supported them, and they brought them into Sana'a, and they gave them money and weapons because they actually indirectly got rid of America's enemies, which were more dangerous. You know, Al-Qaeda, that guy, remember, with the underwear in his bombing his underwear and all that stuff. It was called I don't know, it was called the Yemen something. Al-Qaeda was the most dangerous branch of Al-Qaeda. Now the Houthi has benefited from the contradictions of everything. There was the Arab Springs that overthrew the government. A weaker government came in, and these guys went to Sana'a and got rid of them. They were supported by the UAE, that's Dubai and Abu Dhabi, to get rid of the Muslim Brotherhood because they were in power. So everybody had an interest, and they were all using the Houthi as this fucking this antibiotic to their problem. They got rid of the Muslim Brotherhood. They got rid of Al Qaeda. They got rid of ISIS in Yemen.
Yeah,
and now they're there.
but
Now
that
they're
doesn't make
there.
them good guys. Like I
No,
will see to. I don't know if that's true or not, but I will see to it. But that if they did that
I
and
understand.
still
They're
use
not.
child soldiers to do that, they're still evil.
But the problem is that they didn't have no support. They probably only had 5% support of the people because they are Shiite. They are a small percentage in Yemen. They follow the Iranian faith, which is not in Yemen. It doesn't exist. We are in Yemen. There's two branches of Islam. There's Sunni and there's Zaydis. These guys are 12ers, which is they adhere to the faith of the Iranian faith, which is hated in Yemen.
Yeah, this is why they're Iranian proxy.
Yeah, but the problem, look what happened, Wick. In 2015, Saudi Arabia and 14 countries attacked Yemen and start attacking mosques and markets.
Do you think I'm okay with that, though? I'm not.
No, but that gave them the people to support them. When people saw we were getting attacked, we had no choice. They had no choice but to support them. They were the only people defending the country against the sovereignty.
Why do you think the Saudi attacked them, though?
Because they didn't want them in their border as a Shia. They belonged to Iran. They didn't do nothing. And guess what happened? Listen to this to me. Every airplane that went into the sky, the United States had the maintenance. The maintenance was done by United States workers. The refueling was done by American airplanes. Listen to this. You can look it up, man. Listen, they were refueling the plane in the air as they went to attack Yemen. And they were picking the targets for the Saudis to shoot. And the United States was involved from 2000, I think, 15 until Biden, I think, stopped it in 2022, I don't know. And we were involved. The United States was actually killing the Yemenis. If you're doing the maintenance on the plane.
Trump did do some strikes in Yemen, I believe, with drones. I'm not. I don't have.
But you guys, you agree with me? If you're doing the maintenance and you're refueling the plane,
why did Saudi attack?
Huh?
Why did Saudi Arabia attack?
Because they saw them as a danger to their national security. They didn't do nothing to them.
Sure, but there was a reason they saw them as that. Is because they kept firing missiles at them.
No, because they were Shiite. They're Shiite. You see, you have to understand that dynamic.
Missiles. Houthis fired missiles at Saudi Arabian-owned oil fields. And so the Saudis was like,
that's later on. That's later on when they attacked. They didn't attack nobody in the beginning. They thought they could get rid of them. Yeah. I told you, everybody used them for their own purpose. The United States used them to get rid of Al Qaeda. Saudi Arabia used them to get rid of the Muslim Brotherhood, and at the end, they can get rid of the snake that they made. You understand?
I want to give the mic to.
Go ahead, guys. Go ahead, guys. I want to hear what your take are.
Rat Pack, go ahead.
Yeah, so I guess like one of the things I wanted to say is the empowered man, I think, is actually kind of hitting the nail on the head.
Yeah.
Insofar as the motivation of like why Saudi Arabia hates them. A lot of people in the chat have been like kind of like talking about that this was something that was instigated out of violence, when in fact the Saudi Arabian government and the House of Saud has seen any sort of rise in Shia Islam in the Arabian Peninsula as an existential threat to itself. We can see this in I forgot what's the name of the country that had a Shia uprising.
Bahrain.
Yeah. And we look over there, right, when we see initially peaceful movements in it, the Saudi Arabians finance them to destroy these like peaceful organizations. And then a natural conclusion to that peaceful organization being destroyed is then militancy. And then they destroy the militancy, right? Like these things don't happen. Like the Houthis didn't just like attack from the get, right? Like the Saudi Arabian government saw
they were taking over Yemen. Okay, Yemen, the government of Yemen called, help us.
But they helped them. They helped them take over Yemen.
Came in and helped them. That's what happened.
You know what they did? The UAE gave the Houthis $300 million. The whole idea was for the Houthis to go to Sana'a, the capital, and get rid of the Muslim Brotherhood, and then leave. They said, "Fuck it, we got him here. We like it."
Yeah,
and they're great fighters. You gotta understand, they've been fighting the government since 2004. They had 6 wars with the government.
Look,
So
I'm
they're
not here to
great
stand the Saudis. I'm not a Saudi fan. I don't like the Saudis.
I'm not. I just want to make it clear. Like, I'm not trying to say like you're defending the Saudi Arabian government. And Saudi Arabia has been long involved in this conflict, even before the Houthis had existed, right? The Saudi Arabian government has sought to destroy the rise of Shia political parties existing within that of Yemen and all of these other countries, right? Like, all I'm trying to do, Wick, right, is kind of like set the record straight on like the origins, right? I agree that like the Houthis are a group that needs to be destroyed, right? Yeah. I agree that the Houthis are a barbaric organization that uses children to advance its games. I believe it possesses an existential threat to American and security trade interests. But we have to be honest with ourselves when we describe the enemy, and the enemy is something that kind of arose out of a real deal Kingdom of Saud oppression upon Shias.
Yeah, you know what happened is the 6 war they had with the government of Yemen, Saudi Arabia was helping the government kill them from 2004 until 2011. So they already were, they already hated
Yemen government, IRGY or RCY, I forget how you say it exactly. I agree with you. Like, you're giving me all these things. I'm not fighting. I'm not fighting you on this. They're not good guys.
And
they're not friends. They're not.
They live. The United States is not going to defeat them. You know what? These people live in caves. These are fucking crazy people.
They're not seriously erode their ability.
I think we are fully capable of destroying the Houthi movement or diluting it.
Yeah, but you guys are missing that. There's no infrastructure. They have nothing to destroy. You just lose some money.
We struck their radar sites. We struck their places where they launch missiles.
You really think they have radars on that stuff? These are fucking animals. They live in fucking in caves. Trust me. You're not going to defeat. What you did is you just made the Red Sea more dangerous. All they have to do is just come out, shoot a missile, and go back into caves. That's it. And nobody's going to move. What are you going to do? Chase them all over the mountains? Yemen is a mountains country. It's worse than Afghanistan.
Can I interject here? Please. Because I was just over there dealing with something like this. Almost exactly what it was. But the answer is that they're just going to increase their air presence and seed operations to destroy all the radars.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because we have multiple aircraft with anti-radiation missiles and our drones that I've actually personally touched that can just sit and wait for hours upon hours for a radar to light up and then fire at it. They don't have to go bombing every place. They can just keep bombing the radars as they keep coming online until they have no eyes to see and nothing to target.
All right, I'm not. You sound like you know what you're talking about. I'm not a weapon expert. I'm gonna agree with you. Well, what I'm talking about, you're not dealing with a government like a.
We don't have to I want to be clear with you, Omar. We don't have to get rid of them as an entity. What our goal is and what it should be, at least right now, at least for now, is to just stop them from attacking civilian ships. Exactly.
You know how you could defeat them? All you have to do
take over the rest of Yemen.
No, just help the opposition army that's in Ta'z, the city of Ta'z, and there's one. Just help them, and because Ta'z, there's a city called Ta'z. They have 5 million. They're under blockade by the Houthi for the last 70 years.
I don't think we have the. I don't think it's wise to get more involved in the region.
No, but that's the legitimate government that you recognize in the United Nations.
Well, the problem is this, right? Like the government there is not really good at the entire war fighting thing, right?
They're not good because these motherfuckers are crazy. I'm telling you. I mean, they're dangerous. Man. The Houthis. I'm not talking about the government.
I know. I know. Well, the government's crazy too, but what is it like? They just have a lot of problems with their officer corps. They have a lot of problems with the way they view the entire war, right? The only thing the United States should do. Wait, really quick. I just want to agree with Wick here, right? We should stay as far away from this conflict as possible, and we should only stop the thing that's fucking with our interest right now, right? That's the number one thing that needs to be stopped. The fact that these motherfuckers are attacking our boats, attacking geopolitical trade. is like
We're
unacceptable and needs to stop.
They were attacking Israeli boats, not everybody's boats. They were attacking Israeli boats.
That's not true.
What's the magic word here? How about we get a ceasefire and everything just shuts down? The Iranians going to the Lebanese border is going to get quieter right now. It's getting hotter by the day. All these fucking militias in Iraq will get quiet. We get a ceasefire. We get some negotiation. And we, instead of keep on killing those people, we're chasing the Houthis. Why don't we talk about the real illness in the region right now? The core of the disease, the core of the disease right now is the murderous regime that is killing the Palestinians. Over 23,000 people have died, women and children.
Hamas.
Why can't we say Hamas is a resistant group? They're fighting for their freedom. I don't recognize them as a terrorist organization. You know that, right?
I could have assumed. Actually, hold on. Before we like start arguing here,
that's the problem right there. We're running away.
I don't mind. I don't. No. Before we start arguing here, I don't mind that you have that opinion. Actually, you're actually a great example of what I was telling Wick about on my trip home from vacation. About how the Islamic population in the United States is steadily turning against the Democratic Party because of this.
Yeah. Nobody's gonna vote for dumb fucking 𝕾𝖍𝖙 Joe. He went to Dearborn. Nobody wants to talk to him.
It's gonna die down. He'll be fine.
Yeah,
he will lose. Trust me, he will lose Michigan.
Bro, no, this is true. If you look at Arab American voting patterns, the number one thing that you'll know is that after around 2 to 3 months, they don't care anymore. The only thing that matters is skin in the game, unless you're like from Palestine.
Guess what?
Yeah.
Guess what? I want to give you. There used to be Republicans before George W. Bush attacked Iraq.
I'm aware. Yes, I'm very aware.
Yeah, 69% of Arabs used to vote all the time.
Yeah,
Republicans, because they share the same values. But when George W. Bush attacked Iraq, they switched over to the Democratic Party. Now it's not going to go away.
They hold grudges.
But
Stop, everyone. Because we are 11 months. I believe maybe 10 months away from elections. I'm going to tell you right now, anyone who's prognosticating about what's going to happen in November is foolish.
Sure.
I am going to prognosticate because
I understand you're going to, but I'm telling
you guys, what do you guys? You lost your mind. 23,000. You don't think people are feeling when they watch TV all night and they see the Palestinian fucking being bombed to death?
Bro, dude, a Lebanese Shia that lives in fucking Dearborn is not going to care about the conflict anymore in the next 2 to 3 months when he can't make ends meet, right?
You will see. They're gonna vote. They're gonna downvote Democrat. But they're not going to vote.
I guess we'll have to see, right? When it comes down to it. But I will tell you, right? Anyone who's voting for Trump over Biden in this and thinks that Trump is going to be significantly different when it comes to foreign policy or better towards Gaza is just full of shit. Right? They don't know what they're talking about.
They're not gonna vote for Trump. They're gonna leave it. They say they're gonna leave it empty. The top.
That's what they've been championing from what I've been seeing in the.
Fuck Trump. Trump is crazy. He looks crazy.
I understand, but they're going to see that if Trump wins, and by not voting for Biden, you are enabling it.
What's going to happen? They're all the same. They're all owned by the fucking Israeli.
There's quite a bit of evidence that Biden has been pulling Netanyahu and pulling Israel back from its worst.
Netanyahu.
That's true, Artemis. What? Wait, is right.
Hold on.
Netanyahu trying to get us into a war with Iran right now. He's trying to pull the United States.
What do you mean we're trying to get in a war with Iran? Iran is doing its damnedest to escalate things in the region.
Netanyahu is trying to pull the United States into a regional war to get rid of Iran like they did with Iraq.
That's true, actually. No, that's true. Yeah. He's spitting facts here. Yeah.
Well, Iran is also doing.
Well, they're not helping you,
right?
Well,
They all partnership.
Iran is not stupid. It's not going to get involved. They don't want to get destroyed by the United States. Even Hezbollah, you know who's doing most of the shooting? Israel, trying to get Hezbollah into a war. Netanyahu doesn't want to fucking leave the office, so he'll do anything to keep the war going, to save his skin from going to jail. Everybody knows that is a fact.
So,
you understand?
I don't think I've clarified my position on the
Please clarify your position, but I don't disagree with you that Netanyahu's a bad dude, does bad things. I agree.
So
carry on.
So again, I'm going to go back to the United States has a habit of uplifting certain factions only for them to become our enemies later on. And then we kill them off and then uplift somebody else to take their place and then kill them off later on. in a never-ending cycle because we can't seem to have nice things in the Middle East.
Yeah, I'm going to give you an example. When they were fighting Al Qaeda and the United States was using drones, helping the Houthis in the war, in the battle with the enemies. That's how allied they were. But like you said, we have a bad habit of bringing people to power. Then we end up have to kill them. Then we get another one. ISIS, we made ISIS. Everybody knows we did ISIS.
It's like the Kurds too, right? Like
exactly.
Yeah, like they help us fight. Like they help us fight the Baathists, right? And then like all of a sudden, when like big boy Turkey kind of comes into play, it's like, sorry, we can't help you anymore.
To be fair, the Peshmerga fighters were transferring weapons across the border into Turkey.
Well, no, like, keep in mind, like I'm no fan of like Kurdish militancy at all. I want to make that very clear.
Okay,
look, hold on, if I may. I think that the lesson here we can circumvent a lot of this needless circling to say that everyone in the region are bad guys. They're in their own special way.
Hold on, please. Yeah. Can I comment on the Kurds, please? Just 1 minute.
Oh, my God.
Imagine Turkey is our ally in NATO for the last 50 years. We go to Syria, we go pick their enemy as allies. We train them and give them weapons to fight the Baathists instead of helping the real opposition. So Turkey has an issue. We're gonna leave, and you have this world-trained force that's trying to gain independence. They have American weapons. They have the American know-how. You understand how fucked up we are sometimes, how dumb we are, what we do? Why don't we just pick the opposition to Assad instead of go helping people who are the enemy of our ally? You understand?
Well, the enemies of Assad were like, all Islamic fundamentalists, bro.
They're all crazy. Yeah. I supported Assad at the end. When I found out, I said, "What the fuck?"
Oh, God.
We destroyed Syria. We destroyed Syria for Israel. When we gonna destroy Iran for Israel?
I don't think we did that for Israel. I think we did it to kneecap the support for Russia in the Middle East.
Yes,
but Russia's there. Russia has
no. We tried to overthrow their ally. That was the point.
Yes. It was a holdback from the anti-Russia stuff.
It was the Turkey. Was it the Qatar-Turkey pipeline? I can't remember.
We could have got rid of Assad. One missile in the middle of the night. We got rid of Assad a long time ago. You think we really wanted to get rid of them?
Yeah.
We could have killed them a long time ago. Come on, guys. Let's be honest with each other.
The answer to the Middle East is to glass it and leave it alone.
No, it's not to glass it. I'm going to push back against that. We don't glass people here. What we do?
Hold on. I didn't say people. I just said glass the Middle East.
Guys,
what do you think that? Oh God. Okay. I'm about to kick you all off because this is annoying.
We're sorry.
No, wait.
I will leave because
no, I will. I want to do one-on-ones with you guys. So I'm gonna keep. I want Rat Pack first, then Artemis, and then we're gonna end on Umar. Hold on. Rat Pack, you're first. Okay, you had some thoughts. I want to give you some time with your own thing to kind of give your thoughts on what I've been talking about, what we've been going over, both with regards to Iran, the Houthis, as well as the response from the people on the left towards the Houthis in general, and your thoughts on that. Go ahead.
Yeah, so like I don't try to like do the whole like America bad thing, right? Like I think it's like a really like shitty argument. And like I think ideally we should try to stop these like actors from like doing what they do just like on a moral level. But like just to like kind of lay out the position, like I believe that the Houthis should be destroyed, or at least like significantly debilitated. The United States should not commit its resources to pacifying Yemen or like destroying the Houthis entirely, right? The only thing we should do is just like stop the entire shipping crisis that's happening now. Something I kind of just wanted to add upon though, and like what I talked about earlier is just like a lot of the problems that American foreign policy is in is kind of a consequence of prior actions, but also of the allies. The Saudi Arabians have not helped this situation whatsoever. Sure. And they've like emboldened people like the Houthis more so I think than the United States have. And the United States should start to reconsider some of its positions with that of the Saudis as an after effect of it, right?
Yeah, I agree with you. I think that we are too cozy with them. I understand why we are. I understand kind of the geopolitical reasons and the economic reasons why we would be working with them. What is But there comes a point where we just have to take, I think, more lines in the sand with people and with even our allies, quote unquote, right? Where we just do not tolerate certain types of actions or behaviors. And I understand that might make things more hard for us in certain venues and areas, but I just think it's the right thing to do. I want to push back a little bit against it. Like, I understand that, yes, these are results of actions we've taken in the region, that this is why the region is why it is, but I don't think that's necessarily a criticism of the actions itself, because you have to look at the why did we act as if we did, like we did during that time? What was going on in the region? Would things have been better or worse had we not acted? And I think these are all questions we have to ask. And now the answer is going to differ depending on the situation, right?
Sure.
And that's absolutely. But I think simply looking and say, well, look, these guys became bad guys later, isn't sufficient for me to say we shouldn't have done it in the first place. Does that make sense?
Yeah, like I completely agree, right? Like I'm not trying to state that the United States is like a sole like reason that like the region's in the way it is, right? Like we could talk about colonialism and then, the people that live there, right, and their like power like positions that have done these things, right? All I'm trying to get at is that even with like credible reasons existing, right? Like even when we have circumstances in which action is necessitated, the way we do those actions can, like carry over into other things, right? And the problem is that it kind of seems like in terms of the Gulf, the United States has been a little bit more irresponsible than that of like the Levant, right? A lot of what we've seen in like believe it or not, like Omar mentioned it, right? With what happened in Bahrain, right? And what happened in like Yemen, right? Is a consequence of the United States not leveraging enough power against the Saudis to like get them to screw off of pushing away from these Shia forces. Because I'm sure, as you know, the reason why Saudi Arabia does not want these Shia forces in these countries is because they're afraid of Iranian proxies being birthed, right?
Yes. But to be clear, that's a wise fear.
It is. Yeah, it is. Because like, remember, Shia Muslims are in this like really bad spot because they're surrounded by the Sunni world. And it's like only natural for them to like join Shia militancy that's like funded by Iran, right?
Yes.
But the problem is that the Saudis kind of embolden these groups and haven't actually sought any sort of like reconciliation with these groups. They haven't. They like kind of possess a lot of control over these like states like Yemen, for example. And they don't really try to solve the problem. They just more so try to snuff it out or push it to later, which kind of results in what we're seeing today. And the Saudis haven't been able to snuff the Houthis out, and it's going to require the United States to do. So that's all I had to say on it. I don't want to like take up too much of your time.
Thanks for calling in. Thanks for talking to me about this. Later on in the week, or not later on in the week, next week we're going to be having a Houthi panel, and if you're interested in that, please DM me or anything like that. But
yeah, for sure.
I will let you go.
Thank
you. Nice enough, gentlemen. I'm always interested in people with differing opinions or who have issues with what things I've said or things we've talked about. Like, again, we have a tendency to try to say, well, you have to understand why this side acted like it did, but we have to also understand why the other side acted like it did. Like we could talk about these things. Like the Middle East, this whole area, this whole region is a complex interweave of religious and political incentives, pressures, and history that have all been tugging and pulling on each other. It's exacerbated by world players, geopolitical players coming in to mess with them for various reasons, resources, religion in some cases, and also to try to extend their imperial powers, if you're talking about Russia or China or things like that. So you have this like mix, this hodgepodge of bullshit that it makes it very easy if you want to paint out different actors to be bad actors, you can. There's evidence for it, right? There are no good guys here. I keep saying that. I keep repeating that. It bears repeating because these people aren't good people, right? They're acting in national interests or religious interests or in a lot of cases selfish interests. And they are willing, again, as we went over in our reports, both sides have done this, to recruit children to fight in their goddamn wars. That's terrible. That's terrible. Anyway, let's talk to Artemis a little bit. Hey, Artemis. I won't keep you long.
Why not?
But I wanted to give you a chance to kind of push back on anything I've said or have your own thoughts or your opinions without being interrupted. And yeah, things like that.
So one of the biggest things is that the reason why the Houthis were determined to be terrorist organization before is because they were long since in a civil war and doing the things that they're doing currently before Trump was in office, and that his what was it, his not is it Council on Foreign Relations? I can't remember what it is, but they had designated that the Houthis were a terrorist organization.
Mm-hmm.
Trump did not come up with that on his own because I doubt he knew what the Houthis were before they briefed him on it.
I agree. The Houthis were categorized as a terrorist organization. I think that was right for them to be so, right? I also want to say that I think that it was okay. I don't know if it was good, but it was okay that Biden lifted that for a time to try to get more aid into the region.
I think that was hubris. I think that they should have been working to try to set up some type of diplomacy first before trying to give them everything that they wanted. Because you unilaterally allowed them resources instead of making it conditional.
Well, what this allows, right? And I don't know if this is going to would work necessarily, but it allows it to happen to when people say, well, we should just negotiate. We can point to this and said, we did try to give them what they want. It didn't work.
So in the Middle East, unilateral concessions almost always are taken advantage of by those groups. We've seen it countless times before with Hamas and the
yes.
So I don't know why we would even think that this was going to be a good idea, because we've seen it time and time again with the factions in the Middle East. This is not something new. And when we gave them resources, water, food, medicine, that was less money that the Houthis had to spend on that. And then they just spent that money on weapons. Hamas does the exact same thing, where they supplement one area for another because it's less money they have to spend. This is just a par for the course. This is nothing different. I don't know why people think that just because Trump designated them as a terrorist organization, that was somehow wrong.
Who is saying this? That Trump designating them as a terrorist organization is wrong? Is it the same people who are just supporting the Houthis now? Like, if so, then I agree with you.
So the answer is because people say, well, we took them off the list because it was the right thing to try. Well, the issue is that they belonged on that list. Nothing was going to change their habits. We just for some reason, the people who were in support of that decision thought that this time it was going to be different, even though every other time was exactly the same. That is a statement of hubris to think that you could change something of a culture that was hell-bent on overthrowing the country that they were in, and that they were going to change their practices.
I don't know if I'd call it hubris, but I understand why you are. I think that we do have to, if you want a region to change, right? If you want people to change, you have to periodically give them the chance to do so, right?
Yep.
Now, I understand your argument that, again, it just doesn't work. And in hindsight, you're exactly correct. It didn't work. But now we know it didn't work. And so
then when we try it again in the next location and go, well, let's take them off the terrorist list and we'll try to negotiate with them.
Well, I think this is evidence, at least for the foreseeable future. But also, I want to push back on that because not every like you're saying everyone in this region is the same. I don't believe that's true.
Well, no, all the terrorist organizations in this region are the same.
Well,
right?
Maybe. Yeah.
Okay, so the predicate on the fact that they were a terrorist organization kidnapping people and raiding trade vessels, like Yemeni pirates and Somali pirates, are some of the most well known in the world for a reason. It wasn't because they acknowledged rights.
No, I agree. I'm just and the reason I did this whole thing is because I'm very disappointed in people who are quote unquote on the left.
I agree with everything that you have said so far.
Yeah.
And the only issue is that people decided to give them more resources is my problem.
I think
also
at this point,
the solution is to blow up all of their radar systems.
Yes.
because they've already put them back on the terrorist list. That was happened a few hours ago.
Oh,
I
I knew they were working on it.
No, they've already. I think they've already declared them back on the terrorist.
So it's official now. It's back on the list. They're officially okay.
The Spectator Index was, I think, one of the first.
I think that's also one of the reasons Hassan and his chat and his little followers are pushing back so hard against the Houthi guy they had on being a terrorist, is because there's some very real consequences, moderation-wise, if it turns out he was. Now, again, I want to be clear. I think you should be able to have actual terrorists on your show. I think that
they just
should be
put them
allowed.
back on the. They just put them back on the global terrorism list.
Yeah,
that was 10 hours ago.
Oh, 10 hours ago, got you. But I want to be clear on this. I think anyone should be able to platform anyone, literally anyone. Now, that said, I think that I think we should be free to criticize if you do it poorly. If you go on and you ask them about their anime, you should be mocked and ridiculed. And yeah. Anyway,
I think it's fun. I think it's fun because it just shows how vacuous and vapid the like Hassan Piker's like ideology is. His worldview is fucking.
I don't want it.
Money.
I wish. I think I know you why you think it's fun, and I get it. But I wish it wasn't so. I wish people would take this more seriously. People are. I don't know. Anyway, Artemis, thank you for calling in. We'll see you tomorrow.
Oh yeah.
But for now,
it'll be fun.
Yeah, I want to address that real quick. This isn't a cause to celebrate, right? Like, I know a lot of people are ducking on Hassan because they're hoping his channel goes away or they don't like him and things like that. And to be clear, I don't like the guy. I don't like his policies. I don't know the guy personally. But I'm not cheering on a kind of like a dog pile or anything. What I feel right now is very real concern. A very real concern about where what I consider my people, right? The people who share some of my values, where they seem to be headed, the direction they seem to be going, who they're associating with, who are they are championing, who they are championing, who they are pedestaling, whose crimes they are ignoring, whose ideologies they are standing. And I look at this and I notice that my values do not match these people, right? They don't match them at all. And so I am in panic mode, to be frank. I'm in panic mode that, oh my God, that these people I thought shared my values just don't. And I've been working with these people? What? Right? I've been saying I'm part of these people? Now, thankfully, and this is some hopium for you guys. This is some hopium for you. There's a lot of leftists pushing back against that. A lot. It's not just me. It's not just me that's noticing this. It's not just me that's seeing these things. Even people I would make fun of for being soy boys, okay, are noticing this and pushing back against this. What was it? Ryan Beard did so earlier? Calling him out directly for this? $5 for Artemis Fowl to say we are the baddies. And gang, I don't know. I haven't gotten much monetary support today. Let me take a moment to say, if you've been liking this content, if you've been enjoying the stream, I can't do it for free, right? I can't do it for free. See, I was supposed to have my day off today, gang. And here I am bringing you content discussion. Here I am bringing you talks. Here I am bringing you opinions. Here I am bringing you truth. Okay? Give me some money. Donate some subs. Throw some gift subs at me, some super chats, some bits. All these things really help. Pay the man. Yeah, Omar, this is probably the wisest thing you said, are they? Pay the man. Just $5 here if you got them. Yeah. Does says, sorry, Wick, I cannot give you money when you bring Omar on. Look, we are a free speech zone, and so I allow people with really diverse opinions to come on my stream and say their shit. And I'm sorry, that you don't like it. But this is the show, gang. This is what I've been doing the whole time. This is what I've been doing for my entire streaming career. $10 from Artemis Fowl said, to be clear, if you're starting to push back on the left from the left, you're going to have internal fracturing of support that you desperately need during an election year. Yes, that is true to an extent, Artemis. But I think that it's important to push back on the left from the left when the left is being this, when it is supporting slavers. I think that we have to I honestly think it will garner us more support to do so. I think that it is the wise move politically to do so. I think that electorally we have to jettison some baggage. We have to take our extremists and take them out of the movement. We have to kick them out, exile them. They are an albatross around our neck. And when reasonable people, when normies go, and they see people standing Houthi terrorists, it makes them less likely to vote for Biden. Okay? I want to get the majority of voters. I want to get a plurality together to come and support my candidate. Again, who supports mostly my values. I don't agree with Biden on everything. There is no politician on earth where I agree with everything they say. Just none. $5 from Cryborn. $5 support bringing on vampires with bad opinions. Thank you for the $5. The vast majority of voters don't know who Hassan is. But I want to push back on that too. That's true, but these things penetrate into the wider media sphere. There are things that are very online, quote unquote, that I hear my normie relatives talk about all the time. My normie brothers and sisters talk about constantly, right? They look at these things and they say, hey, I heard a news report about some guy who was joking around about X, Y, and Z. This is used as fuel by opposition to make us look like terrorist supporters. It is ammo that we give to the other side. We don't need to. We don't need to do that. We cannot. We can just not. Penetrate climax? Keep going? What is going on in Twitch chat, first of all? What are we talking about? Penetrate climax? Keep going? What is... Look, I'm going to go back to YouTube chat. $10 from Artemis Fowl. Fair, but if a large part of the left are willing to sacrifice the election for standing terrorists, that is an admission. Trump isn't the existential threat that the left claims it is. And that's the question, right? Where does the majority of leftists lie on this, right? And when I say lie, I don't mean lie as in telling a lie. I mean, where do they fall when it comes to, are they willing to destroy Biden in order to punish him for his foreign policy that they don't like? I think that it was a mistake to let in the extremists in the first place. I think letting the extremists in has put us in this situation. I think we should have kept them out. But now that we are in the situation, there is not else I can do but shine a light on these extremists, these little rat fucks, okay, who are rat fucking us from the inside, okay? They don't want Biden to win. All they want is chaos. They want chaos and anarchy so that that they can try to take control of what remains and get their own little localized power. They are not people who share my values. They are not people who want the same things I do. These particular people, right, I wouldn't consider them real leftists. I think that they are extremists and they need to be driven out of the party. They need to be driven out and not given any seats of power at the table. They are not serious actors. And we, to our failing, to our shame, have allowed them to lead portions of the movement, to become voices of influence in our party. And that is a shame. That is to our shame. It is to our detriment. It is one of the reasons we are having the problems that we are having today, is because we have allowed the children to run the show, the inmates to run the asylum. We should have done what the Trumpists and the MAGAists, right, the Republican Party should have sidelined their extremism. They let their extremists run the show. We have seen the result of that. We cannot let that repeat with the Democratic Party. That cannot happen. $5 from Skilltree Gaming to say, can we just recognize how ironic it is Israel seems to want to force another group of people to wander in the desert? That is ironic. Yes. But yes, there's this idea also that, oh, none of this matters because no one cares, right? Like, they call us influencers for a reason. We obviously exert influence based on the size of our audience. Hassan has thousands of viewers. Thousands of people take what he says to heart. Thousands more comment on what he says. He drives discourse in a very real way. These things have ripple effects that do influence the electorate, okay? This is how people get their news nowadays. And then increasingly, as the younger generation is coming up, it's how more and more young people are engaging with electoral politics. It's through things like TikTok. It's through things like Twitch. It's through things like Twitter. It's like through things like YouTube. These things are having a greater and greater influence on our electorate. And to act as if, oh, they're just seeing these Twitter randos, I think we are being ostriches and we are burying our heads in the sand if we are doing that. We have to recognize that even I, a small bean like I am, a very small streamer with 50, maybe 100 people in total watching me right now, I have an influence. I affect discourse to a very small degree. But remember, Pennsylvania, last election in 2020, went to Biden with 20,000 votes. Okay? We're not talking large margins here. We're not talking huge amounts of margins here. These little things matter, especially in a very polarized, divided nation which we find ourselves today. The edges, the extremes, the margins matter in a very real way. And if we can push the margins and convince the margins to vote for our side and not their side, it has an effect. So when you have people like Hassan going on simping for terrorists, talking about settler babies, it turns off enough people that it is a concern. Okay? It is a concern. And I think that it is only fair to protest that, to push back against that, and to let people know that there are adults running the show here. Hassan, right? He has his influence, but I got mine, gang. And I promise you, I'm going to use everything in my power to stop people like him from getting the reins of power in America. And I will do that by keeping a hold of the ship, by holding that steering wheel and not letting those little leftist pirates come and take my ideology, my values, and run them into the ground. We're not going to let that happen. Not on my watch, gang. Not on my watch. When Mike from PA, okay, I'm in Pennsylvania too. Me versus Mike in PA, okay? Mike PA has a little influence. I'm not going to vote for anyone. Blah, 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 blah. I promise you that I'm going to do everything in my power to make sure he doesn't matter. I'm going to do everything in my power to make sure he does not matter at all. That he is politically irrelevant. That he is sidelined in the way that a lot of you think he should be sidelined and is sidelined. But he is not. Sadly, he has influence now. That won't happen if you let Wick get his way. If Wick gets his way, Wick will steer the ship. Wick will take back the reins of control. Wick will bring the adults to the table of leftist politics again. We need to stop simping for terrorists. We need to stop simping for Houthis, right? We need to say these people are slavers and child traffickers, and we want nothing to do with them. The only thing they deserve is the U.S. military knocking on their door, okay, with guns, bombs, and bullets. Okay, that's what they get. Because negotiating isn't working with these people, okay? And again, you can say, hey, look, I don't want the regional conflict anymore. I don't want to get that. That's fine. But what they're not doing that. What they're doing is saying, oh no, the Houthis are good and we should support them. We need to stop that shit immediately. Yeah, the dog agrees. My dog's getting excited because I'm getting excited. Pirate Arc, I'm the captain now. Look at me. I am the captain now. Yes, is that how they say it? I'm not sure. I'm not sure. Would you agree we should stop simping for Israel too? We need to get out of the region altogether. We need to go and start supporting Taiwan. We need to go and support Taiwan. That's what we need to do. We there's just so many interests. I don't think we can let Hamas win either, to be clear. But I don't think we need to support. You don't need to support Israel's bombing campaign either, right? You don't need to do this. You don't need to do any of this. You don't need to. You don't need to. Please, please. We have an election coming up in 11 months. 10 months? 11 months? In November. November. Okay? There's an election. Okay? This is what matters. Influencing people to get out the vote. And gang, in February, on February 11th, WhickTV will be in Ohio, Cincinnati, to help with the canvassing efforts in that state to hopefully flip it, to hopefully push it from red to blue in whatever way we can. Okay? And if you want to join me in this adventure, you can. Okay? Let me provide you with a link. Okay? That you can fill out, and you can come canvass with me in February, on February 11th, on that weekend, and you can come hang with us. Let me get you the link. Boom, boom, boom. Let me see, is this it? Yes. Oh no, I exited out. Oh man, I suck at this game. I suck at this game! Okay, I'm going to provide this link to you, all of you. You can click it. And if you need help with lodging and things, you can check a little box when you're signing up, and they might help you out. It's not promised, right? But we're willing to work with you, okay? This will be great. It'll be fun. Because, look, if you care about what's happening in America, right? If you want to influence, if you think we're on the wrong track and you want to get back onto the right track, this is how you do it. Electoral politics is the way. And if you, like me, think that the Democrats have this year, right? And this year, we should vote Democrat, then this is what we're doing. We are canvassing in Ohio. Now, that's not all we're going to do. This is only the start of things. I am in Pennsylvania, like I said. When we get closer to the election, I'm going to do more on the ground, direct electoral shit that we're going to be talking about. Tomorrow, 8 p.m. Eastern, we're going to be having a debate. Okay? We're going to be having a debate. There's going to be counterpoints that's going to be there. 𝕬𝖎 𝖕 is going to be there. Lactoid is going to be there. Rashad, a new gentleman, is going to be there. And we're going to be talking about Biden's recent speech on Trump's fascist rhetoric regarding January 6th. It's going to be a great debate. Great debate. Going to be, should that term be thrown around? I don't know. $10 from 𝕬𝖎 𝖕. 20,000 votes during a time when mass mail-in voting was allowed, favoring Democrats heavily. This has been removed by Pennsylvania Republicans for 2024. Can't wait to see the results. That's another good point, actually. We have had a lot of changing of the systems to try to finagle how many people get to vote and where the votes are favored. That's why we need to use everything at our disposal. Like, I know a lot of people say, oh, you know, Republicans are trying to make it harder to vote. They're trying to drive away the vote by making it, you have to have a license or whatever. Even if you believe that's true, okay, what's the advocacy here? What should we do about that? You know what? In states where that's the rules, you play by the rules. Take the time, get your license, go vote. Don't let their obstacles be an obstacle to you. Do not let them stop you from exercising your constitutional right. Okay? Even if they put up obstacles, overcome them. Even if it's snowy or if it's rainy on that day, even if the weather's bad, even if it's hard to get out of work, take the day off. Do what you need to do. Do what you need to do. If you need a ride, talk to someone in your area. They can get you a ride. Anyway, it's going to be great. It's going to be great. Thank you for coming out today. Again, this was a little impromptu. It was a little messy. Okay, I know that I didn't really plan things to happen today, but I think we had a good show. I think we had a good show. Did you guys enjoy it? Did you, my dear viewers, did you have fun? I hope you did. Where are we going, gang? You want to go say hi to Stardust? Let's go say hi to Stardust. And I'll see you tomorrow, 8 p.m. Eastern. For now, I bid thee all adieu. 再见，婊子们。